guys, it's Khaki. 3 weeks ago today, I had a gastric bypass. And I just wanted to make this video to update you and remind myself of my progress. As of this morning, I have lost, 32.2 pounds. That's since the start of my pre-op liquid diet. Since surgery, I've lost 17.4 pounds. Today will mark 1 week since I started being able to eat puree soft foods. So, one thing I have to admit, I'm getting tired of it. I was so anxious after liquids for really 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after. So, 1 month of liquids, I was so anxious to start puree soft. And now I'm very anxious to move on to the next step where I can start eating some lean deli meat, cheese sticks, things, mozzarella cheese sticks, things like that. But overall, I think it's been doing pretty good. I have tolerated everything very well, I think, with the exception of eggs. Eggs was the very first thing that I ate, and I was able to eat about half of a scrambled egg with some cheese. I have eaten eggs a couple of times since then, and it's just one of those things that I can't get very much down. Not that I can get, I'm limited to really 2 ounces or a quarter cup of anything, but eggs I can only get down about half that much, and I think it's just, I don't know, it's like I get about half of what I've allotted for myself, and my stomach goes, no, I don't think so. So, not gonna push it with that at all. I did have one episode of, I think, very mild dumping. I talked to a dietitian about it, and she's the one who told me she thought that's what it was. I had made egg salad. Here we go with eggs. And I did not have any dill relish on hand. So I put a tiny amount. What I thought, for on a bariatric diet is where I'm at right now. Probably 4 servings of egg salad in little 2 ounce cups. I put maybe a tablespoon tops, probably not even that much, of sweet pickle relish in it. So each serving would have had about a quarter of a tablespoon or half a teaspoon. Well, I started eating it, and I got about halfway through it, and I thought, I need to stop this. So, finished up, went to the grocery store, and while I was at the grocery store, I got very sweaty, very dizzy, just weak, just didn't feel good, and I actually left my basket at the grocery store and came home. I was very nauseous as well. So I took a Zofran, laid down. My husband brought me a cool, wet washcloth. I put it on my forehead, and it passed in probably 30 to 45 minutes. But the rest of the day, I was very gun shy about eating. I ate very minimally the rest of the day. And I thought, well, it was probably those darn eggs. I never should have tried them. But then I was talking to a dietitian and describing it to her, and she said, no, I think that was the sweet relish. I think that the sugar in that caused you to have some very mild dumping. And I was amazed that that amount could do that. But it was a very big eye opener about, really avoiding sugar at this point and in the future. So that's definitely one thing I'm not going to do again. It wasn't horrible, but I certainly did not want to stay in the grocery store. It was that bad that I needed to come home right away. Um, the Like I said, eggs is really the only thing I've had that not really good feeling about. Everything else is going down well. I'm setting a timer to make my little meals last between 20 and 30 minutes. I've got the baby forks, the baby spoons, the little baby plates, and I'm chewing very well, eating maybe a black bean size bite at a time, and trying to pace out my bites to make it last that full time. It's very hard. I think when we're able to eat more volume, it'll be a little bit easier to space it out. But when you've got a little quarter cup of food, it's hard to make it last 20 or 30 minutes, even taking those little bites. So that's something I'm still really working on. Um, I am at this point trying to increase my calories. I actually, the last week on the um, puree soft food, I've gone down in calories from when I was on liquids. When I was on liquids, I was eating cream soup, which, as I said last week, I don't think will be able to eat cream of anything for a little while. But I went from probably 600 calories a day on that to there were days last week I didn't get to 300 calories. So that's something I'm becoming more cognizant of and trying to increase my calorie intake. And I am just not, the other thing I'm not tolerating is protein shakes. I have tried several different kinds. Before my surgery, I had settled on the Fairlife brand. I thought those tasted good. They were going down good, just tasted like chocolate milk, strawberry milk, no weird aftertaste. Now, with the exception of sugar free popsicles, everything sweet makes me nauseous. So I just don't, I'm kind of thinking the last thing I want to do is throw up. So anything sweet, I just haven't been able to tolerate. And those protein shakes are pretty darn sweet. So I have tried adding protein powder to everything. And I just haven't found a protein powder that mixes in that well. So I was again talking to a dietitian, and we were talking about all of that, and she suggested collagen peptide powder, which I know is not a complete protein, really can't be counted as a protein, but it does mix in wonderfully. I know there are other benefits to it in with skin and nails and muscles and that kind of thing. So I have been putting a very small amount of the collagen peptide powder in like my unsweetened tea and in my water. Mixes in beautifully, have not been able to tell it. So even though I can't really count that as a protein, that has helped me. I think will have benefits other than just as protein, or obviously than protein, but it is helping me get my calorie intake a little bit up. Last week, or yesterday rather, I got over 500 calories. That's the first time I've done that since surgery. Well, not since surgery, since I started on the puree soft foods. So, it just goes to speak of how little volume I can hold. And I'm just not hungry. I'm having to set a timer to remind myself to eat. And, it was suggested not to go about every 3 or 4 hours with having something either to eat or a protein shake or something rich in protein. So I'm really trying to go by that. But you know what? A little 2 ounce portion doesn't have many calories in the foods that we can eat. So, a cottage cheese, a tuna fish, eggs, yogurt. That's, you're getting less than really 75, 80, at the most 100 calories with those. So it takes a little while for those to add up, but that's something I've really tried to do the past couple of days is really work on getting that in. So hopefully next time that I report back, that will be something I've been able to do. So this week, I lost, let's see, about 2.5 pounds. I did expect to not lose as much this week because I have added the food instead of just the liquids. And plus, I lost a tremendous amount of weight on the front end. I went into surgery having already lost a lot of weight. When I went to my bariatric team for my 2 week follow up last week, they all told me, now your weight loss is going to slow down, especially in the next couple of weeks when you reintroduce real foods. And it did. And, it's very, even though it's expected, it sure is nice to step on that scale and see that big loss. And then when you step on it and just see a couple of pounds, you have to definitely do some self-talk and tell yourself, now you knew this was going to happen. 2 pounds in most people in a week is great. And I'm trying to remember that. At this point, I've lost what did I say? Almost 32 pounds, I think. And, a little over 32.2 pounds. And it still doesn't seem real. It's not that it hasn't been hard. It's not that it hasn't, that you haven't, quote unquote, made a lot of changes, which I have, but it just hasn't, you know, it's very surreal. Once, for me, my experience, after I got on the liquid diet, within 2 or 3 days, my hunger went away. It was just like food was not even out there for me to worry about. I wasn't having to make that choice at mealtime. Am I going to get the chips and salsa or am I going to get the salad? So that choice was not there, and it was remarkable how my hunger was diminished. Since I have had surgery, it's even less so. And then since starting on the Puree Soft, it just really isn't there. So it just doesn't seem like I have, you know, and I don't mean this in any negative way, but struggled to lose that weight like I would have a year ago. A year ago, losing 32 pounds took a ton of struggle and a ton of effort. And I have put in a lot of effort in this, but it's very different. So, anyway, one thing that I have really done well with is getting my fluids in. I'm walking around with my water bottle. I'm drinking water with the Mio sweetener in it, just a little splash of that or some lemon. I'm drinking decaf tea with the sugar-free lemonade in it. I am drinking decaf coffee. Still every now and then having a cup of broth. But overall, I'm well above my 64 ounces. That is my goal for that. I've been able to tolerate my vitamins very well. I've started taking I think it's the ProCare Bariatric Multi with 45 milligrams of iron in it. It's in a gelatin capsule that's especially made for bariatric patients. Not to toot the horn of that one brand, but I had several people recommend that to me, that's what they took. And so far, it's done well. I haven't had any indigestion or anything after taking it. Then I also have started doing the calcium chews 3 times a day because, as bariatric patients, the acidity in our gastric system is not what it needs to be to get all the calcium that we need from food. So we have to supplement that. And I have, I think it's called Bariatric Pal, is the name of the calcium chews that I've started doing. I ordered a bag of all the fruity flavors and I'm just kind of varying those, and they've been really good. They haven't had the chalky aftertaste of some of them I've tried, so I really like those and not a problem getting those in. They taste like a Starburst. So, my energy level, the week after surgery, I was good. I felt like I had, a normal basically amount of energy, although I was tired by night, but had a normal amount of energy. The 2 weeks after surgery was when the fatigue really hit me. I was dragging. I was really dragging. But this past week, not so much. I have felt like my energy level is coming back up. It's not where it was, but it's near normal. I went back to work the Monday after my surgery, and I've continued to work, and don't feel like energy level has slowed me down any. And nighttime I'm ready to go to bed still, but it's not terrible. Um, the non-scale victory, my clothes. I feel like my clothes are fitting a lot better. And I've actually had a couple of people who didn't know that I had surgery say, "Wow, what have you been doing? You look different. You look like maybe you've lost a little bit of weight." And that makes you feel good for somebody to acknowledge it. I'm the kind of person that I see people on the Facebook boards who say, "I've lost 50 pounds and nobody's mentioned it." And I'm kind of one of those people because I'm always reluctant to ask people, "Oh, have you lost weight?" Because I always have this fear of them being sick, and that's why they've lost weight. And I don't, I'm very cognizant of people's feelings. I don't want to make them feel bad. And don't want to say, well, gosh, you look bad before. Now you look good. So I know that's kind of a double edged sword that sometimes, even when people notice, they won't let you know it. But um, I'm still I'm still wearing loose fitting dresses. I have one incision that is still a little tender, and wouldn't you know it, pants rub right where that is. It's the one right above right above my belly button. So that, just out of fear of irritating that, and I certainly don't want it to get irritating and open or any kind of infection. So still wearing dresses. Hopefully by the way it looks next week I can get back into my normal pants. Uh did have one, going back to the energy level. Last Saturday I decided to take my dog for a walk. Been walking a lot inside the house, but this was like the first official walk that I had been on, and felt good that day. So I thought, yeah, I'm gonna walk her where pre-surgery, when I was feeling good and trying to exercise, where I had walked her before. We live in a neighborhood with a loop, and I got about halfway through the loop, and I just pooped out, ran out of energy. And I thought, okay, I can turn around and go back, or I can keep going. It's the same distance. So I pushed myself to keep going. I was almost to the point of picking up my cell phone and calling my husband and asking him to come get us, but I think he was taking a nap and I didn't want to bother him, and I thought, now this is ridiculous. You can do this. But when I got back to the house, I thought, gonna be a little while before I do that again. I mean, it really, I had to lay down after that. But other than that, I've been able to keep going with my normal activities. I have been doing some stretching, which has greatly helped with my back pain. The last couple of videos I talked about, that was where most of my pain was in my back, and it's still there, but not like it was. So very glad about that. So I have another week on the Puree Soft Foods. Um, Going to, just keep going, work on trying to get something in every 3 or 4 hours. Still on the quest for the protein powder that mixes in well. I'm not giving up on it. And just excited about where things are going and about the future, and just so glad that things are going well. And I just want to thank everybody for sending me well wishes and watching my videos. And, comment below if you've had weight loss surgery. Where were you at this point, at that 3 or 4 week point? What was your experience like, if you're willing to share? Anyway, well, I will see you in about a week. Have a wonderful week. Thank you.